So I might have gone to U of M right away. My mother graduated from U of M and was pushing hard. My dad graduated from Wayne State, so also pushing that way. Wayne State gave me a 4-year scholarship, full ride, so it was really easy for me to keep working and start my education at Wayne. In particular, since I didn't have a particular goal at that time. I didn't really know what I would graduate with. So going to Wayne State was fine. Filled out all sorts of basic freshman English, math, things that you would normally do, and ended up getting a lot of psychology credits, which turned out to be wonderful just because it was an interest of mine. But then when I decided to transfer to Michigan anyway, just because I thought the value of that degree would be more, it was wonderful. Wayne was on the quarter system, Michigan was on the semester system. My psych classes transferred so well that by the time I entered Michigan, I needed to have a laboratory psychology course and a language requirement. Everything else were free credits. And what was fun is at that point, my interest had kind of shifted to the science field. And I was taking all sorts, they have wonderful science classes at Michigan. So all the chemistries and organic chemistries and physiologies and genetics, and they were great classes. Yes. I won't remember the professor's name because, oh goodness, it was 30-some years ago. But the statistics class that you took for a psychology major is hands down better than any other math class I've ever taken, and proved the most useful later. Also beat the one they taught in the business school. So anyway, and I did have some very interesting professors. I have to admit that they were very very well prepared, really challenged you at a high level. I worked very hard those years I was at Michigan. I was a great student. uh, Honestly, I think I was always the kind that needed to prove to myself that I could do it. So really in undergrad, I worked very hard. Very minor part-time job and not so many extracurriculars, so you could count my boyfriend, I guess, for good thing, I don't know. Anyway, I did end up with Phi Beta Kappa out of my undergrad, so yeah, it worked well. I worked at the desk and at the front desk at the dorm, and I didn't do the student things really as an undergrad. I think I was still searching for what I wanted to do. So joining, you know, psychology students groups or even adventure clubs or anything like that. And we were fairly isolated up on North Campus. So we didn't have the union where you should just participate all the time. They didn't have a union on North Campus back then. So you really weren't as incorporated in the whole life of what the rest of the university was doing. Yeah. Anyway, I got a little more of that when I went to grad school because all of the classes were in what used to be called the Graduate School of Business Administration, and now it's this magnificent building called the Ross. But even then, although I did join some things that were related to business, the finance club, women in business, things like that, I was married and a commuter student by then. You know, I think really my favorite memory is walking across the Diag. Just feeling whether it was headed to the library or going to a lot of my classes were in Angel Hall or in the chemistry building. The classes that I did have on campus, they were all right there. And so that feeling on a fall afternoon of just going there and not, I don't know, having a kind of a sense of power that this was where I should be. I thought that was a favorite memory. The other one, I suppose, would be riding home on the bus that takes you back to North Campus. And especially after an organic chemistry test, which I felt with my 2 extra years of maturity, I had no problems with. But the kids riding back on that bus, oh my goodness, they were all freshmen riding the Bursley bus back home. And at the start of school, well, almost all of them were pre-med majors until they took organic chemistry. And it was so strange to ride that bus with all those kids in the same class, kids 2 years younger than I was, and they were in panic mode. And I just was feeling confident because I wasn't putting the pressure on myself to say, oh, I'm pre-med at this point. I was just keeping the options open. Yeah. And I thought it was great. It was really a lot of fun. I think what I take away from that is that life can be very flexible and changeable, but just do the kinds of things to keep the windows open so that as your life keeps changing, you'll have the skills and resources to deal with it. And I guess what I mean by that, like when I got my undergraduate in psychology, well, it didn't turn out that that was a field that I could end up working in, at least with just a bachelor's degree. Could have gotten a PhD, but that was a really long time. But I could switch. And when I did that, I found a field that just opened doors really for the rest of my life. And that really was my intention when I went there, is that after I had my master's degree, I wouldn't go back to any other degree-oriented program. I still love lifelong learning. I do Coursera things. I substitute now. I do all sorts of things that involve education. But I don't see a reason to go back for a degree-oriented thing. It just doesn't matter. And wow, that MBA from Michigan has opened all sorts of doors. People really like that. And even in a terrible economy, because 1983 was the worst economy before just this recent time, I had 3 job offers, even with my psych degree. It was nice. I could work in Detroit, which I wanted to do. Got a job with Burroughs Corporation. I thought that was wonderful. Got to work in corporate treasury for a Fortune 100 company. Thought that would be amazing. Okay, turned out that corporate treasury thing is not, it's cracked up to be. However, that led to a leasing company job. They opened a brand new, we're going to lease these mainframe computers, and I was in on the ground floor. And I loved that job. And it really, it was great that because of the path I had taken, I got to that place. Oh, I love that it's coming back. I love that it's now a reasonably safe place for my daughter to live, because after she graduated, she wanted to come back here. And I will admit, all those years I grew up, I would not have lived down here for anything. It wasn't safe. The years I went to Wayne State, I lived in Warren, and commuted. I didn't live down here. And now, the energy and the enthusiasm of all these 20-somethings means that it's a wonderful place for her to live. It's a wonderful place for her to connect and meet people and do amazing things. So yeah, she's using her degree. You should interview her. Because she's just down the road working at WDET now. And has done everything from design the world's largest hopscotch in Detroit. She worked with a team of students that put down a 4-mile hopscotch track about 2 years ago as a promotion in the city about how wonderful downtown can be. And I thought that was very cool. And she's just doing an awful lot of interesting things. So I like being able to meet her down here. And I like coming down to try new restaurants. And I love coming down here to bike the riverfront or all sorts of things.
Yeah, so you're definitely optimistic about the future of Detroit.
Oh, it is so much better than it has been in my entire lifetime that yes, I am very optimistic. I think that once something has critical mass, um, that ball just keeps going. And I think that's wonderful. Just enjoy your time at U of M. Do whatever you can to keep the windows open. So work hard and play hard and remember that the choices that you make right now are not necessarily lifelong choices. You will do this for a while. It may work, it may not, but life goes on and you will value your time either way.